What is up, YouTube? My name is Eben, and I've been thinking a lot lately about being pro. A lot of people have been talking about this recently. It's sort of a buzzword thing, and it's gotten me to thinking about what is it to be pro? What is it to be competitive? Is it really that good? Is it something that benefits us, that benefits the game? Uh, and I'll say this as for starters, speaking from point of reference, I used to be like a very quote unquote competitive player. I back in my Yu-Gi-Oh and my Magic days before that, I placed at most events. I made top cut. I would come away with prizing. I would win playmats, things like that. I did a lot of research, a lot of play testing, yeah, hours every week minimum. That sort of thing, and it was something that I had a lot of time to spend on it, and I put the emphasis on spending that time that way. And I enjoyed that. I really did. I tended to play more meta decks because, after all, the meta decks have a lot of play testing from a lot of other people before you even get your hands on it. So it's like you've researched it more in a way. Basically, you use the community as a research team to develop a good deck, and then you take that research and you test it out yourself, and you find, oh yes, this is a good deck. I agree. I want to play this thing. So there's no shame in playing a meta deck. There's no shame in net decking because that's a huge brain trust of people who are essentially doing a lot of legwork for you. Um, and they tend to be right most of the time. The community of players at large rarely miss on what's a good deck, what's really good in this format kind of thing. So I played the competitive decks most of the time. I did really well. I would make little personal tweaks, and I always really loved making the little personal tweaks. For those of you watching this who know my Yu-Gi-Oh decks and stuff like that from way back in the day, I like to add in little weird things that make the deck mine, but which also give you some kind of a distinct metagame advantage. Well, as time has gone on, and I've entered into Pokemon, I've become a less competitive player realistically. Mostly because I don't have that kind of playtesting pool. I don't have that kind of time to put into it anymore. And I do wish I did have more time to put into it just for personal enjoyment. I kind of wish I had a little more money just so that I could, if for no other reason than to say, I've got four of every card, I can build any deck my heart desires. That would be delightful. I think we'd all love that. Um, but it's different now. Life changes and it makes demands on you. You have to choose between uh, other things in your life and the gaming you enjoy and other things again. So you kind of borrow time away from your gaming as things go on, which I guess in some ways is a little, it's bittersweet because you're spending it on something you love even more, I guess, in a way, because you place so much value on it, but at the same time it's a little bitter because you're losing a little bit of something you really enjoy too. um, but to look at it, do I still enjoy the game? Is it something that's worth doing even though I'm not doing it to the fullest extent I can? That kind of thing. And I think I can honestly say, yeah, I enjoy it because I still get to do what I enjoyed most about the game. And that is, I'm getting to make those little weird choices. I'm getting to make those things that are distinctly my tech, my choice. It's the thing that makes my deck stand out from the crowd, even if it's only a little bit, even if most people probably would overlook it. I know it's mine. I'm enjoying it. I can make an appearance. I can have competitive games at events. I don't get to go to as many events. That makes me a little sad. But the thing I find is ultimately, yeah, in response to the earlier question, I am still enjoying the game pretty much as much. Um, I'd like to win more, but I know what I need to do to win more. So when I take a less common deck to an event and I don't necessarily do as well, it's not that bad. And a lot of times I'm not even getting to go to big events anymore. So it's kind of okay, because I can take a slightly less competitive deck to a local and still do really well at a local tournament or just playing casually against friends. Spending less time on it, yeah, I'd like to spend less time at work so that I could spend more time on gaming, yeah. But anyway, I think what I've discovered from my own personal reflection, having been on all aspects of this, is you don't have to be hyper competitive to enjoy the game. I think some people, especially when they are hyper competitive, don't necessarily get it. But I think the thing you have to be careful about when you're competitive is you have to be really careful not to stop having fun in order to have the fun of playing at a super high level. That's a trap that I see catches a lot of people, and then they burn out. They're going to events and they get like 3 or 4 matches in, and they're like, "Oh, I can't wait to be done today." And that's just kind of, to me, that always blows my mind a little bit, because I'm like, man, I could play all day. I want to play 3 days in a row. I want to play 11 rounds a day. And I know it's going to kill me, but it's that kind of good fun that by the end of the day, you're so psyched. You're just dragging yourself into your hotel room or wherever you're staying, but like, it was worth it. Yeah, this is why we go. And when I see somebody who, like, they're kind of almost dreading it, I'm like, man, I don't know if you're doing this for the right reasons anymore. Like, I think you've kind of lost your focus. So give me your feedback. Let me know down below in the comments. Yeah, do you really enjoy being hyper competitive? Are you not so competitive? What do you think about competitive play? People who are playing for that top cut. Let me know. Seriously. That lets me know what kind of content to provide on the channel. I provided a very competitive deck this week. Seismitoad Bats. And it didn't get necessarily as many views as I was kind of expecting. So I was kind of surprised by that. Is that not what you guys want to see as much of? Or what? Did I not label it well enough for everybody to catch it? I don't know. But let me know about that. That helps me tailor content on the channel for you, because I can always post more competitive decks, but I figure you've probably already seen the competitive decks a lot. You know what's in them. I'm not showing you anything new, really, or special. But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you just want to see more of that. Maybe you want to see my particular spin on that. So like I say, let me know. Really, and beyond that, the only thing I wanted to talk about, speaking of competitive and pro, the new break promos. And tell you what, we'll take a look at those. By an interesting coincidence, I have them laid out. And the new break promo box is like $30. And you get this Behemoth break, you get this Empoleon break, and you get this Noctowl break. Well, I bought it just so that I could show you guys and be like, hey, this is cool. But then I was looking at them and I'm like, okay, this is, the Empoleon could put in some work. It's fairly competitive. 170 HP is nice. It's kind of like a stage 3 evolution though. So, I mean, that's not great if it's not a grass type, obviously. And it's not. The Noctowl's pretty cool. His attack, he could put in some work. And he's easy to power up because you can DCE him. That's nice. But the card that excited me the most, I had to think about it, and I was talking to somebody because I thought this thing was just complete garbage. But when I, honestly, but when I started thinking about it, I thought of some combos for this Behemoth, and it really became the card that I was the most excited about, the one I wanted to build around. And I really had the money, I probably would have bought 2 more of those break packs, which would have been $60 extra, which is kind of ouch to basically pick up 2 more cards. But I really wanted to build and playtest this deck. And I'll let you know more about that on Tuesday. I think I'm going to feature this card on Tuesday. So for those of you who watch the vlog, you can see the future. This guy seems like he's a real letdown, but I've really thought of some ways that make me excited to play him, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this guy could be really difficult for opponents to deal with, and he could do such really cool tricks, and oh my gosh. So, that makes me think, when I'm looking at these, and the one that excites me is the one that I think most people would think is terrible. I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I'm not hyper competitive. It might not win as much, but it would win more fun, if that makes any sense at all to say that way. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe there's more to the game than just being really competitive, and maybe I'm starting to grow as a player. Maybe that's what that is. Maybe I'm growing as a player. Maybe I'm becoming a bigger, better person. Or maybe I'm just like sinking into a comfortable retirement. I have no idea. Once again, give me your comments. Always comment, like or dislike according to how you feel. That tells me what I can put on so that you guys will start liking it. Last week, a lot of people said, hey, what about Yu-Gi-Oh? How come you stopped doing Yu-Gi-Oh stuff? And I responded in the comments, but if you'd like me to kind of look into Yu-Gi-Oh, I mean, my area has got a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh community still intact. If you want me to take a stab at that, you lasted this long into the vlog, so you know what, you deserve it. If you guys want to see me try to get into Yu-Gi-Oh a little bit, I will give that a try. I will put my little heart into that, and we'll see where that goes. So if you guys, if that means that much to you guys and that's what you want to see, I will do it, because I'm dead serious when I say I want to make this channel for everybody, for us. I want to grow it for us. So if that's really what you want to see, well, we'll see. You will see interesting things happen to me. You'll see what I build with what I've got, and like I say, it'll. I don't know what to expect, but that could be a lot of fun just for giggles. So and if you don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh and you think it would be fun just to watch me, suffer horribly at the hands of a handful of people in my own hometown, you know what? That sounds awesomely funny. Go ahead, and if you want to see that, go for it. If you want to see more Magic the Gathering content, I'm doing Commander decks. So if you want to see that, let me know. And I will definitely look to putting more of that on the channel. So anyway, I think that's about everything for this week, and I will see you next time.